Ladies and G's, boys and G's, it's the forbidden son of athletics, KaraboJ, with another episode of the TrackInsider ZA. It's been so long. I haven't done this in a while. I feel like it's an abnormal thing, but to come back, I thought, why? The Olympics just ended. The Olympics were a bit of a for South Africa, but athletics was the main event, as it always is, and the rest of events are bridesmaids. So I picked a list of the top 10 performances at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games from the South African track and field athletes, and I'm gonna name them athlete performance only at the Olympics. So I won't judge the whole season, 2024 season, because it's unfair to judge them on the whole season, but we're just gonna focus on the Olympic Games. The list is quite good. I never thought I would get 10 people that performed at the Olympics, because we had some performances, shortcomings, some are just so unfortunate, some are just, and I'm going to talk about one of them, which is Laith Pillay. You know, it's one of the guys that I hoped and liked to see in the final of the 400 meters, but he did not make it. But anyways, he also did not make it to the list. Unfortunately for him, it's just a special mention. Also, Carl Blechnote, also Zakiti Nene, and the 4x4 team. You know, and the 4x4 team was a strong team from the beginning of the year. We hope that they do get something. I mean, the fall in the semifinals, which was the qualifying rounds, surely got them a bit distracted, surely got them a bit out of it. You know, I thought to myself, they're not going to get into the final. They don't deserve to be into the final. But speaking about many things, but I need to speak about the top 10. Listen to me. About the top 10, we're going to get right into it. Number 10, for me, remember that, for me, Brian Rutz. I mean, the boy is only, I have notes here, the boy is 20 years old, jumping a PB this year of 226, but in the finals he jumped at 224. But you know, the performance of Brian Rutz speaks about the future of high jump in South Africa. I mean, we haven't had someone like him in a while. You know, he moved from high school to now senior level, and the first year of his senior year, you know, this guy's already in the Olympic final with Mutas Bashim and Tamberi from Italy. Obviously, they had their own problems at the Olympics, but for him to get to the final, and it was unfortunate for him to be the first one to be knocked out, but it was a good performance from him. Number 9, Edmund du Plessis. I mean, my guy, you're on the list because you qualified. You know, having someone qualify for the 800 meters is tough, because 800 meters is becoming a sprint event. You know, I mean, after running his personal best of like 144.22, I don't want to make a mistake, in Ireland earlier this year, it was very consistent of him to run a 145 in the semifinals. But his performance, for me, I put it at number 9, because throughout the qualifying rounds, I saw that he's going to struggle a bit, you know. And when he got into the semifinals, it was still the same. You know, you're fighting against guys who can easily, or not easily, but run it in a comfortable pace, a 144, 145. And the guys are easily running now 143, 142. So competing against that, he was not going to be in the final and compete in the final. But fortunately, he fought to be in the semis, and that was good enough for me. This is why he's my number 9. Number 8, Benjamin Richardson. Benji did it this year. You know, after that, I said a 9.8, what? I can't remember. The wind aided time, it looked good. It looked like he's going to do good. It looks like he's the future. I mean, the guy is a talent. You know, he looks like a talented athlete. You know, his form, the height, everything about him just says he is the kind of guy we can count on in the future as well. Running a 10:06 in the qualifying rounds, to me, told me that it could time out. But look, he never had the experience, you know. But you need to take that into account. Into the semis, he was third. You know, one of the guys that we're looking at qualifying based off being the fastest losers, and a 9.95 in the semis was not good enough. So imagine the kind of pedigree you need to be in that final. And obviously after that, he got injured, some problems happened, he couldn't help the 4x1 team, which is why he's my number 8. I mean, he could have been top on the list or in a better position. Number 7, I couldn't separate these two. Number 7, number 6 for me is Zene van der Walt and Rogail Joseph, the two 400 meter hurdle ladies. 24 years of age. I still believe that they're still young enough to develop. They're still young enough to mature in the event. They're still young enough to be pushed. You know, I mean, when Sydney McLaughlin goes 50 point whatever, Femke following that, other ladies following that, you know, it only pushes these ladies to that high level. And it also tells me that these two are going to be very good competitors in South Africa. But the Olympic performances was so good. Rogail, I never thought she could even get to the semifinals, but she did. Shout out to her. Zene is becoming that world-class athlete that will be in finals, that will feature maybe 5, 6. And as years go on, I see her getting a medal at one of these major competitions, but it will need so much. So for them, moving from the qualifying rounds, semifinals, and both of them running their PBs in the semifinals, both of them finishing in third place respectively, was good enough. With the time of, obviously, Rogel ran 45.12, which was a personal best, and Zene van der Walt running a 53.90. It tells me that we as South Africa have 2 400-meter hurdlers that are going to do so well in the women's event. Number 5. So that's number 6 and 7. I can't separate them. Number 5, Prudence Sikgodiso. Prudence had it all coming, guys. Prudence was counted as one of the people who were going to be in the medals. The 22-year-old athlete with a personal best of 157.26. Her personal best on its own says she could have been third in the final. And the qualifying rounds look good. The semifinals look good. She looked like the athlete that was either, for me, going to finish second or third. And maybe could have challenged Keely Hodgkinson. I mean, Keely Hodgkinson is only rated because of the past experiences and the past championships and obviously the personal best, season best coming into this year as well. But Prudence looked very good in the Olympics. I think she only makes it to number 5 only because she lost it in the last 200 meters of that race. Going into the top 5, number 4, Adrian Vilshoot. Mr. SA record, Mr. SA record, Mr. SA record. I called it 3 times. Adrian has been breaking the 10,000 meter SA record the entire year. And this time around, I'm going to spell it out for you. This time around, he ran a 26.50 in the Olympics. I don't even care about the position at this time, but just that's a 240 per K, 10K. Guys, go out there, run 1 kilometers at 2 minutes 40 seconds. It's extremely good. His pedigree now is becoming very high and high, and it's obvious that the Olympic training in the US is helping him, and his base there is helping him. Obviously, he decided, let me leave college, let me leave university and continue with my pro career in the US and stay there. And it's been working for him so well. I mean, we saw him this year winning the 5,000, I think doing the double with the 10,000. I can't remember nationals, but I remember the 5,000. And just him qualifying for the 10,000 by breaking the record each and every time solidified that at the Olympics. And I was proud of him, definitely. And it was the first day, the first action that we had. Could have been a medal, could have not been. He was in that position. But you look, we're competing against guys who have not only the resources, and I don't want to speak about resources when I speak about Kenya and Ethiopia, but I want to speak about the kind of experience they have in these events. They lead it on to the younger ones. The younger ones lead it to the younger ones. So we never had that culture of winning the 10,000 or medaling at the 10,000. So Adrian did so good being that guy. Hopefully inspires a lot of us. Hopefully inspires a lot of South Africans that are going to go out there and run the same as he did. Number 3, the top 3. Elroy Geland. This guy doesn't get as much credit as he should get, guys. Elroy Geland is, for me, one of the greatest distance runners in South Africa of all time. This man runs a 208, and I think it's a 208.56 Feb this year. Goes and he runs a 209 at the Olympics, places 11th, beats Kenenisa Bekele, beats Eliud Kipchoge, beats Kiplangat. We can also say beats Stephen Mokoka, his own teammate. And in the start of that race, I mean, the guy looked to be in the leading pack. He wanted to be a part of it. He wanted to be a part of the race. He wanted to be a part of the conversation. The course was tough, as said. You know, it was hilly. The course was brutal, the heat as well. But Elroy Geland showed up. Elroy Geland ran something close to his PB. Two marathons, way months apart, because I always look at your personal best versus your time run at the Olympics or at the main event, and it's quite close. And for him to do it like that, he's very consistent. I think his training has to be very, very good, you know, and I don't think he does any altitude or whatever training that's special, but it's only based in the Northwest. And shout out to you, Elroy Geland. You are very underrated. I've seen him perform. I've seen him do things that I didn't think he could do. Like at trials, cross-country trials, he would start at the back, finish in like 3rd, 4th. He'd start at the back, 2 years of him doing this, and sometimes you think maybe he's trying to give the other guys a chance, and then he slowly comes into the race. Maybe he doesn't have the speed anymore, but well done, Elroy. Number 2 could have been number 1 for me, but number 2 is Johanne van Dijk. Guys, the last time a female filled athlete in the terms of javelin throw, won a medal at the Olympics was Sunette Viljoen. Johanne van Dijk went into this year as the most consistent javelin thrower, I'm going to say in Africa, and bit by bit, meeting by meeting, she got better to only throw her personal best in the qualifying rounds of the Olympics, which makes it the top performance for me. Obviously, she threw a 64.22, then in the final goes 63.93 to finish with the silver medal. If she replicated that performance, it was still not going to get a gold medal, but that was heartwarming and amazing. I think seeing someone like that has been so consistent, winning multiple national titles year in, year out, at her age of, I think Johanne is 27. Yes, she's 27 according to my notes. She's only going to grow. You know, these female field athletes, when they get into their 30s, they get stronger, they get much more wiser, they get much more experienced. They know which throw, they know which one counts, they know when to get warm, when to throw it high. I think she's going to get better. Looking at her next year, probably a candidate to also finish in the medals in Tokyo, in the World Champs. But she needs to stay consistent. And number 1, guys, number one is the guy. You know, he finishes 4th in his final with the new USA record of 9.82 in the 100 meters. And in the semis, he ran a 9.85. Imagine that, 9.85. And just to think of it, guys, and 9.82 doesn't get you a medal at the Olympics. That's how crazy it is. But my number 1 top performer is Akani Simbini. And the reason is because he also carried that relay team, the 4x1 relay team. So if I were to compare him with Johanne could be number 1. But the fact that Akani also carried the relay team. And let's not lie, guys. Let's not lie. From the semis, I saw them. They were in a difficult position. I think they were 4th or 3rd when you got the baton. 4th, 5th when you got the baton. All of a sudden, Akani puts us number 2. And in the final, obviously, with USA and the blunder, Akani is also there, you know, to make sure that we finish 2nd. Credit to the guys. Credit to Bayanda Walaza. Credit to Sean Masongani. Credit to Bradley Nkwana. But Akani really held that team down. And he knew, you know, I think he knew that he's the leader in the team. He's the guy that will just tell them, get it around. I'll finish it for you. He was the finisher. He was that guy. You know, in high school, the finisher is always the best guy. But recently, people have been putting the best guy 2nd or 3rd, depending on what they can do better for the team. But Akani being the finisher just proved he's the captain of the team. He was the flag bearer. And shout out to him. Shout out to everybody on the top 10 list. Shout out to me for being back. Ladies and G's, boys and G's, it has been the Forbidden Son of Athletics, KaraboJ, with another episode of the TrackInsider ZA. Goodbye.